Germany has an alarming shortage of care and nursing staff. With the deserted job market, medical institutions are increasingly recruiting staff from abroad.
We can't manage without international care workers.
A large number of clinics engage private recruitment agencies to hire trained medical staff worldwide. It's a lucrative business.
Anyone can set up a recruitment agency.
The market is still completely unregulated. How does the recruitment business work? Through our research, we came across cases of successful integration, but we also met distraught nurses who can't even get to Germany. They've signed dubious contracts lured by great promises.
It was the beginning of hell for me.
Profit on the backs of people from poorer countries?
Sometimes it's almost like modern slavery.
What is going wrong with the recruitment of foreign care workers? The University Hospital of Essen, a normal day on the wards. As in all German hospitals, the staff are under a lot of pressure. One building along, 5 new nurses are being greeted by Silke Lange from International Applications Management. The nurses all come from Serbia and should join the team right away.
Dobro došli. I hope I pronounced it correctly. A warm welcome to you all here.
The previous months have been exhausting. Learning German, getting their documents verified, bidding their farewells.
Ich komme, weil ich möchte.
I have come here because I want a better place to live and to work.
Ort zu leben, zu Arbeit.
They've all taken the first step. From now on, they'll be working in a German hospital and looking after patients in a foreign language. 30-year-old Maria from Serbia is starting on the neurology ward today.
This is Vanessa. She's your mentor. She will accompany you in your first weeks and show you how everything works on the ward.
Starting today, Vanessa Roda will be her go-to person to help her get acquainted. It's important as she'll have a lot to process.
This is our doctor's office, and this is the office of our head nurse. And if we go down the corridor here, we arrive at the patients' rooms. I think it's important that they know there's always someone they can ask to help familiarize them with everyday life here on our neurology ward, to meet the colleagues and help them get integrated into the team.
Around 3,000 nurses work in the University Hospital of Essen. 46 of them were recruited from abroad. Almost 70 more are expected this year. I meet the head of nursing, Andrea Schmidt-Rumposch. She explains to me why foreign nurses are so urgently needed. Why did you take the step of recruiting nursing staff from abroad?
The German population is aging. This is known nationwide. And one of the cornerstones of recruiting staff is to hire international nurses. We also train our own staff and strengthen that part. But we can't manage without international care workers.
All across Germany, the search for nursing staff is a huge problem. In 2020 alone, there were 36,000 vacancies, which is why Federal Health Minister Jens Spahn supports the recruitment of nursing staff from abroad.
The need is so great that we couldn't manage without qualified staff from abroad.
The number of foreign care workers has increased dramatically in recent years. In 2013, around 74,000 nursing staff were non-German nationals. In 2020, it was almost 3 times as many, at 208,000. More than half of them come from non-EU countries, such as Bosnia, Serbia and the Philippines, but also from Latin America. The recruitment is mostly done by private agencies. How much do you invest in the recruitment of one nurse?
It varies from agency to agency. The costs are between 9,000 and 21,000 euros, depending what services are on offer, such as helping them move house or getting their papers in order. It ranges greatly.
But the recruitment agency market is not easy to figure out.
There seem to be hundreds of recruitment agencies. I think there are far too many, and it's very confusing. We are contacted by several agencies per week. All of them offer something different, and there is no uniform standard. Sometimes you have the feeling they are only after profit.
On the internet, I do some research on recruitment agencies for the German nursing market. There seems to be an endless offer. The promises are huge. A great salary and a lot of annual holiday for the care workers. Conditions that no German would associate with the nursing profession. I contact an agency, pretending to be a Mexican nurse. Hi, how can I come and work as a nurse in Germany? Hello, are you a qualified nurse? Yes, but I have no job at the moment. Don't worry, there is work for you in Germany. We can organise it within 10 months. When I ask how much I will earn, I get no answer, but I'm told. They are great employers. Honestly, you will really like it. But things don't always go the way the agencies promise. In Cologne, I meet a German teacher, Marie Esch. She introduces me to one of her students. The young woman comes from Sao Paulo in Brazil. After the interview, she asks us to hide her face, as she's afraid of any reprisals.
This is Caroline.
Hello.
The Brazilian woman met her teacher when she was looking for help learning German. Without her support, the young woman would probably now be back in Brazil. Instead of a better future, she has experienced a personal nightmare.
The promise was that I could come to Germany and work here, in a field where I had already worked in Brazil and where I had the right kind of experience. They said they would help me with the whole integration with the hospital and with any bureaucratic problems.
But once she got to Germany, Angelica was not placed in her field, nor in the clinic that was mentioned in the job interview. She also had language deficits, as she didn't learn the medical vocabulary needed for her job in the language course offered by the agency. She shows me her contract. Did you know what you were getting yourself into when you signed the contract?
No. I had no idea how the healthcare system works in Germany, nor how the agency would handle the matter.
Contrary to what was promised, there is nobody to show her the ropes in the clinic in Germany. Break times and holidays were not honoured. Alongside a full-time job, there is the pressure of learning German. The young woman fell into a serious depression and left the clinic, but then she had a rude awakening. The agency demanded money from her. According to her contract, the Brazilian was meant to stay with the same employer for at least 36 months. Is this the sum that the agency is demanding from you?
Yes.
Almost 5,000 euro.
You are strong.
What does this contract mean for you?
It's a prison, because I have to work in a place where I'm not happy, and I can't quit, because then I'd have to pay a fine.
She feels that instead of having a better life, she's worse off than before. Is this one case the exception? I do some research and more nurses contact me with similar recruitment contracts. In all the ones I see, there are commitment clauses and fines to be paid. Many of these clauses are not legally valid. Is there a method behind such contracts? In Dortmund, there is an advice centre called Fair Integration, where foreign nurses can get help. I speak to the advisor, Christiana ten Benzel. To what extent are these individual cases?
I think that every case is different, but you can't really say they're isolated incidents. They all occur in connection with recruitment organizations, not with state-run organizations, for example. The problem is really that these recruitment agencies are not regulated. Anyone can set up a recruitment agency.
And there are many dubious agencies on the market. I show her the recruitment contracts from my research. The content is sometimes contradictory. It says that recruitment is free for the candidates, as is the language course. But a few paragraphs later it states, after successful participation and starting work, the contract is free for the candidates.
I don't think these contracts have been drawn up by professionals. I also think they are deliberately vague. They imply that they help and support the people they are recruiting. But in reality, they don't actually do that.
This is her personal evaluation. In the worst case, instead of offering support, the recruiters demand money from the nurses. How high are the debts?
Once there was a sum of 23,000 euros. That's a lot of money. People probably could never pay that off in a lifetime.
Even if the contracts barely stand a chance in court, very few people stand up to them. Many of those affected get into debt before they even make it to Germany. Sao Paulo, Brazil's largest city, this is where Gianni Barreto lives. The 39-year-old was due to start work as a nurse in Germany in March. In early 2020, she signed a contract with a recruitment agency and shortly afterwards got a job contract with a German hospital. Due to the pandemic, I speak with Gianni via video call.
Hello, Caroline.
Oi, Gianni.
Gianni started with the recruitment agency's online German course in May 2020. It was the first time she'd learned a foreign language.
When we started with the German course, they told us that we had to concentrate 100% on the language course and that we should give up our jobs.
So you quit your job?
Not just me, my colleagues did the same.
Gianni felt secure with the contract she'd already signed with a German clinic and gave up her job as a nurse in Sao Paulo to concentrate completely on learning German. She wanted a better life for herself and her 5 children.
I bought the plane ticket, insurance, everything, because they told us we should. The agency said that we should pay for it from our own money, or that they would lend us the sum and we could pay it back afterwards.
Can you tell us roughly how much you've already invested in your dream of working and living in Germany?
About 7,000 reais.
Almost 1,200 euro. That's almost 2 months' salary for Gianni.
At the beginning of March, we had our German tests and everything was very rushed. I passed in reading, writing, and listening, but I was missing a few points in the speaking part. So I repeated the test, and they told me I had failed again.
After Gianni failed the test twice, she lost her place in the program. Although there's nothing in the contract about how often she can repeat the test, she was supposed to pay up several thousand euros. How much money is the agency demanding from you?
Their secretary asked me to come to an appointment. She said that in the contract it states that I have to pay 3,700 euros.
Since she left her job, she's found no further position as a nurse. Then another Brazilian nurse gets in touch with me, Patricia Cavallo from Rio De Janeiro. She was supposed to come to Germany with the same agency as Gianni, but she hasn't made it here either.
What did I do? I sold my flat, and straight after I had done that, in the same week, the boss of the course took me out of the program, even though I had a job contract and had already paid for my flight.
Patricia gave up her whole life to come to Germany. Now she's without a job and without a home and has to take care of herself and her 13-year-old son.
I hope that no one else falls into the trap that I fell into. It's not good for anyone. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
What does the agency say about these allegations? The nurses were promised a free German course and free recruitment in a German hospital. Now they have to cough up several thousand euros. How can that be possible? I make my way to Düren, in North Rhine-Westphalia, to the agency's headquarters. They even have an award as an innovative startup. Before the visit, I check the company's website again. Of the 7 staff whose pictures can be seen here, 2 alone are responsible for integration. But after some brief research, I find out that these are stock photos purchased on the internet. I want to find out more and meet Nina Baumann of Perseo. On your website, you say that you work in accordance with international standards to ensure an ethically correct working practice and fair treatment of applicants. That means that the whole recruitment and hiring process has to be transparent for applicants at all times. They don't have to pay anything and can change their job any time. In my research, I came across a few cases and wanted to show you something. I show Ms. Baumann, Patricia and Gianni's cases.
What did I do? I sold my flat.
I bought a plane ticket, insurance, and everything.
Okay, I know who that is. This nurse comes from Brazil and has been learning German for free for 11 months. And for I don't know why, maybe personal reasons, but she hasn't made any progress. And the flight she bought, she really just did that herself and booked it without any reason.
So Gianni took too long to learn German. In the contract, it doesn't say anything about a time limit.
Yes, from A1 to B1.
Can you show it to me?
She knows that. It's not in the contract, but it's in our information emails, and we point this out at our information events.
These women have given up everything for the dream of coming to Germany. They have quit their jobs, sold their homes because they thought they would get a secure and well-paid job through your agency. Now they are in debt, have invested money, no longer have a job, and should even pay a fine of up to 3,700 euro. For what are you demanding this fine?
The contractual penalty is only based on the fact that when the applicants do a language course and they come to Germany, this whole program is free for them. But we are financed by the clinics. So we are financed by the clinic or the care institute, which means that our services are paid by them. We have to fill the vacancies in the clinic, have to completely pay for all the services we have rendered. And with 11 months of language course, that is a lot. We have to pay for these services ourselves. So the recruitment contract partly covers us against that.
So that means you cover yourselves with this contractual penalty for the nurses.
During the program, we cover
yourselves financially.
That we cover our costs maybe gives the wrong impression, but we invoice those costs. Our program is totally free, but if someone...
But Ms. Baumann, that's not correct. The program isn't free. How could I have several people here who have debts, who have invested a lot, and who now have to pay a fine?
If they have accumulated debts in the meantime, then I have to say, honestly, I'm sorry about that.
But still, it's your responsibility to ensure the quality of the language courses.
Quite honestly, Ms. Henschel, you will find dissatisfied customers at any business. Of our pupils, after 3 years, 93.7% of the nurses are still here. So we can't have done everything wrong here when it comes to integration.
But what about their integration staff? I asked Ms. Baumann about the stock photos. Is this Anja Meyer and Bettina Schulte?
No, we don't have any current photos of them.
Oh, right. So that means...
Yes, I know. I asked all my staff to send me new photos of themselves. But then, due to the pandemic, we didn't get around to it. We wanted to make a film, too.
But she does exist.
Yes.
Can we call her?
Yes, of course. I just have to find the number. Please give me a moment.
The Anyamaya in question does actually answer the telephone after a few attempts. She's based in Frankfurt and confirms that she supports the integration of foreign nursing staff. We were not able to talk to Bettina Schulte, as Ms. Baumann doesn't have a telephone number for her employee.
It's only possible by email.
Okay, only by email.
Yes.
But it wasn't possible to give us that email address because of privacy concerns. We have the impression that the agency is making the applicants bear their business risk. If they don't make it to Germany in time, they're threatened with paying the costs. But what role do the agency's clients play? Do the clinics who finance the recruitment agency's business know about the fines threatening the nurses? We ask at the Asclepius group, where Gianni and Patricia were supposed to start working from March. We are assured that no one knew about these procedures. The clinic utterly condemns this practice. The Asclepius clinics in Bad Wildungen will therefore ensure that the women concerned suffer no material damage. The clinic says the agency had assured them the nurses would not be pursued with demands for payment. The clinic also said they would terminate their contract with the agency. Thanks to our research, Gianni and Patricia don't have to pay a fine to pursue. But they don't get their jobs back or the money they've already invested. More and more nurses get in touch with me, also from other agencies. Sebastiana Ayeres de Freitas is the only one prepared to speak to me openly. She believes she has nothing left to lose in any case. She too was apparently lured with great promises of a better life in Germany.
It was a fabulous offer. They promised me a job with a great salary, especially by Brazilian standards.
In October 2019, she signed a contract with a recruitment agency.
From then on, it was the beginning of hell for me, because... Sorry, it's hard for me to talk about it.
Sebastiana too tells us that she gave everything up. She moved to Sao Paulo to attend the agency's language course. In the end, she couldn't even pay her living costs, so broke off the course. And now she owes a lot of money.
They want 5,000 euros.
Can you pay it?
No way. I don't even have a job. How should I pay it?
In Sebastiana's case, there are two cooperating agencies, a Brazilian one and a German one. We confront both of them with the case and ask for a statement. The Brazilian agency answers, "As the contract was signed voluntarily by all contract parties with knowledge of the content, I see no violation of ethical or fair standards in the recruitment process." In Berlin, I have an appointment with the director of the Care Employers Association, Isabel Halletz. She also confirms that something is wrong with the recruitment market. With her federal working group, Foreign Care Workers, she has been campaigning for years for more transparency and quality in the recruitment business.
I truly believe it's almost a form of modern slavery because they're making a profit from the staff shortages we have in healthcare institutions in Germany and luring staff from poorer countries with false promises.
Why are there so many dubious agencies?
The difficulty is simply that we have no legal regulations governing who can do this kind of work in Germany, and often we have recruitment agencies that are not based in Germany. We're missing a central register where you can find out who is active in the business, and there are currently, as I said, no general conditions that determine which ones are the serious agencies.
At least there is a state-run program for the recruitment of foreign nursing staff, which manages without private agencies, called Triple Win. Since 2013, the Federal Employment Agency has worked together with the German Society for International Cooperation and has brought 4,425 care workers to Germany. But with 36,000 vacancies, this is still too few. Hence, the Federal Minister for Health, Jens Spahn, is encouraging recruitment via private agencies. In 2019, he travelled to Mexico to court applicants for the German health system.
It's about making things easier for recruitment agencies, faster visa application processes, faster recognition in Germany of foreign qualifications.
To speed up these processes for agencies, DEFA, the German Agency for Qualified Health and Care Workers, was set up. The aim is to bundle all the bureaucratic processes surrounding recruitment.
By founding this agency, the German Agency for Qualified Health and Care Workers, we have really reached a development milestone.
But the development milestone has not been very successful so far. When we ask, the DEFA tell us that they have completed around 40 cases since the start of 2020. Few agencies seem to really use DEFA, yet the federal government has still invested 2.3 million euros in this project. To gain more transparency and fairer recruitment conditions, politicians have decided on the development of a seal of quality. But it will be voluntary. Why does the Federal Ministry of Health not create legally binding standards and regulations, just a voluntary quality seal? We are told the legislator expressly intended it this way. The Federal Ministry is preparing incentives for firms recruiting with the quality seal. But can a voluntary seal really change much? As long as national politics create no binding regulations for the agency market, foreign nursing staff can only hope that all clinics scrutinise who they work with, as the University Hospital of Essen does. I speak once more with the head of nursing, Andrea Schmidt-Rumposch.
Here you can see a draft contract from an agency. We had a long, intensive personal meeting with the agency to discuss possible clauses in the contract, because we wanted to set a certain framework.
The foreign care workers are supposed to come here and stay. For this reason, they need to be well looked after. Good integration and local support are incredibly important.
We are working with and for people, you can't forget that. And it's important to us that we have a good, clean process.
The healthcare worker shortage is so great that a huge market has developed for recruiting nurses from abroad. But many recruitment agencies are operating on the edges of legality. We rely on foreign workers, and because of this, a clear legal framework is crucial for ensuring recruitment is done fairly.